2nd Ezra, chapter 13, verse 40. Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, whom Salmanassar, king of Assyria, led away captive, and he carried them over the waters. And so came they into another land. But they took this counsel amongst themselves, that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt, that they might then keep their statutes which they never kept in their own land. And they entered into Euphrates by the narrow passage of the river. For the Most High then showed signs for them, and held still the flood till they were passed over. For through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half. And that same region is called Arsareth. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. By the way thereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 50, verse 33. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together, and all that took them captive held them fast. They refused to let them go. So 2nd Ezra chapter 13 is dealing with the northern tribe. We call the so-called Mexicans, so-called Hispanics, so-called Indians. Deuteronomy 28 obviously is dealing with the southern tribe. And Jeremiah 50 is basically proof that we were oppressed together. These curses are reoccurring. This is Brother Uziel from Messengers of the Covenant. And today's Feed the Lions lesson is titled, The 4th of July is Their Holiday. So I'm starting to see here a lot of brothers and sisters. Most of them aren't even in this truth, but a lot of comments going on about, so-called Mexicans being locked up by ICE, silly and ignorant comments like that's what they get for voting for Trump. Just a lot of garbage being hurled at a lot of our brothers and sisters. And don't get me wrong at all. There is a seed of Edom amongst the northern tribe, just like there's a seed of Edom amongst southern tribe. They're just a little darker. So we understand that based on who your father is, that is who you are. That's according to the law. That's how we've always found out who we were. Okay, we need to know who each other's fathers were. So we got the 4th coming up here. And, this is the time where everybody pulls out their grills and, they want to barbecue, barbecued hot dogs and then the hamburgers. And, we're going to go to the fireworks stand and, pick out a lot of fireworks. You got some brothers that like to go out and, buzz caps in the air, just a lot of ignorance. Not really understanding that Independence Day has absolutely nothing to do with this. Because when it was first established, we were in heavy captivity. Okay, heavy, heavy captivity. We're still in captivity now. The chains have just been adjusted. That's all. They've just been adjusted. And if you look very carefully at the nation that's been oppressing us all this time, sometimes they'll take a break on Southern tribe and they'll beat the hell out of Northern tribe. And sometimes they take a break on Northern tribe and then they come back and, do what they've been doing to Southern tribe. So I'm going to say this, it might make some of you mad, but Northern tribe does need our support. They need our support. We should let them know that, we still love them. They're still our brothers and sisters. And, they need to understand that we're family. You may not like it, but we're family. And one thing we have to realize is, what do you think's going to happen when they're done with the so-called Hispanics, the so-called Mexicans? Where do you think their attention is going to go to next? And we look very carefully, we're starting to see a lot of liberties being locked up, a lot of laws being slowly stripped away. It's getting to the point now to where the officer and thief is starting to go above normal courts. And the reason why he's doing that is because he wants to make sure that the lower courts, where we will normally end up at, dealing with matters, civil unjust and stuff like that, they're going to be handicapped. They're not going to have any power to excuse anything that's going on. And we're taking a look at the police officers. They're pretty much right now they can't really be held accountable for anything, and it's by law now. And when you sit back and you say, why is this happening? Who does it affect? Who has it always affected? Always affected us. This big dream to make America great again. It's always been off of our blood, sweat, and tears. That's how this place became great. It's ironic that people are being called illegals when, and I've heard brothers say this before, they're committing a crime by just standing here. Okay, they came here by force. They used guile and trickery and thievery, murder, lots of bloodshed, lots of graping. And lo and behold, here they are with rules that they created, telling the inhabitants here what you can have and what you can't have. That's like me going into your house and doing the unthinkable to your family. And then your kids that are left, I tell them that you can have the bathroom. You can't use the shower or the sink in there. You can have the bathroom, but guess what? Whenever I need to relieve myself, I can go in that bathroom anytime I want. You can have it, it's yours, but I can go in there anytime I want. Okay. Some of your kids start to come out of the bathroom, they start to grow up, and they see that their family's pictures aren't on the wall anymore. But my family's pictures is on the wall, and I'm telling their grandchildren that this was always my house. Okay. So the children start to grow, and then after a while of them starting to grow in number, I'm scared because they're starting to outnumber my descendants. So guess what I got to do? I got to get them out of the house. Okay. So I'm just giving a little bit of an example of what it's like. It's very shameful. It's wicked in so many ways. And these things have already been pointed out And it's funny how every single time we have a leader that brings these things out, they wind up having their candle blown out. So many of our leaders, so many of them. But now we found out who we are. And there's too many leaders. There's too many of us. And we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. We're starting to follow these law, statutes, and commandments, and we're starting to watch prophecy after prophecy roll by. And it's a great feeling. It is a little bit more terrifying for a lot of us because a lot of us are still ignorant to who we are. We're still trying to do things our own way, and it's not working. And it's getting to the point to where some of our brothers are very volatile with us. But nevertheless, this word still has to go out. We still have to attempt to wake our people up. Although the prophecy says 2/3 of us won't make it, we still have to wake up our brothers and sisters. I'm going to go ahead and start off here with Romans chapter 15 and verse 4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we, through patience and comfort of the scriptures, might have hope. This is a beautiful scripture. This basically lets us know that all the events that have happened in the past in this Bible, it was for us today. There's something that each and every one of you can relate to in times of stress, pain, hell, and suffering. Okay? We've been through many captivities, but we always got to come back to this. This word's been here the whole time. Every single captivity we've been through, this word's been here. And so we just need to remember that these things are written for us, bring us back to remembrance of who we are. Okay. So let me go ahead and grab another one here really quick. And I actually should have brought this out first, but we'll be all right. This is Hosea chapter 4, verse 6. My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou should be no more priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God. I will also forget thy children. Okay. History. That's all we have to look at is history. These people, they don't care about the old or the young amongst us. Okay, history tells that. We got children missing today. A lot of them are never found, or when they are found, they're found with their candles blown out. Okay, bodies mangled, organs missing. Okay, when does it stop? It's not going to, brothers and sisters. It's not going to. This captivity is completely different. It's like many past captivities put together, because these people that are ruling over us, there's something off about their spirit. Okay. It's as if their brains have been put on backwards. Okay. They are the embodiment and the border of wickedness at the same time. All right. Let's get the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse, let's see here. Let me go back here. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 48. Excuse me there. Here we are. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord hath shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he hath destroyed thee. Okay, we know our past. We don't have on yokes of iron right now. We're mentally destroyed. We're sitting here, we're playing with our captors. Okay. We want to light fireworks with our captors. Want to have barbecues with our captors. Okay. We want to sing and dance and play sports and entertain them. Okay. The funny thing about this is that when all that's done, when that last firework, when it goes out, sometimes before you even make it home, there's an incident. When you can't play ball no more, when them joints is old and there's just nothing you can do. If you happen to be a top star at some point, if they want that money, they coming after that bag that you got. They coming after it. Okay, we already have to pay tribute. We have to pay taxes. Okay, you get caught up in some kind of a scandal, the first thing they're going to do is, if you got money, they're going to hit your pockets. That's what they do. Everything we want, we have to get from them. We have to get permission. And if you think I'm lying about that, you take your money that you've made from them anyway, or just for the fact that it even has their faces on it, and you try to do what you want to do when you want to do it. At some point, you're going to run into these captors. And they're going to tell you the business. And if you don't listen, they're going to give you the business. Okay. All right, so let's go to the book of Lamentations. Lamentations. I'm going to get chapter 5 verse. Yeah, chapter 5 verse. Chapter 4 and 5. We have drunken our water for money. Our wood is sold unto us. Our necks are under persecution. We labor and have no rest. Can brothers and sisters identify to this? Can you testify to this? Okay. You buy water. And some of you Negroes are natives and don't even know it. And some of you Negroes say things like, well, my family didn't come here on those ships. And then there's brothers and sisters, Negroes, that say, ours did. There's a big old battle about that. As I read earlier, the 10 tribes. Israel is, and when I say Israel in this sentence and this example right here, I'm talking northern tribe. They're deeper than southern tribe. There's more of them. So a lot of you are here. Okay. According to Zechariah 7 and 14, we're scattered like the whirlwind. So we're a little bit everywhere. Okay. But can you identify to this? You drinking your own water. You paying for your, paying for your own water that you drink. Okay. The furniture you buy, it came from your wood. Next, being under persecution. Just laboring and laboring and laboring, working like a slave. Okay. There was a sister actually that worked for, I think she worked 7 straight days. And that's sad because, one of those days was the Shabbat. And she said she needed some rest and never woke up. Never woke up. I can't recall the sister's name right now, but it's a very sad story. And I believe she worked for a restaurant. This is recent here, so she shouldn't be hard to find. And when you think about that, why is it that we work so hard? I've had a personal situation I'll bring out later. But yeah, this making America great again. It's at the cost of our blood, sweat, and tears, not theirs. And they know that we are supposed to be under their foot, because whenever they have to sweat for anything, you ever notice how those attitudes come out more? It's like, I know I'm supposed to be over you. I am not supposed to be outworking you. You are supposed to be under me. My feet are supposed to rest on your neck. There's no way you're supposed to walk around here and have any kind of ease. We see it every day. We see it every day. Let me get Lamentations chapter 4, verse 17 through 19. And it reads, As for us, our eyes as yet failed for our vain help. And our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us. They hunt our steps, that we cannot go in our streets. Our end is near. Our days are fulfilled, for our end is come. Our persecutors are swifter than the eagles of the heavens. They pursued us upon the mountains. They laid wait for us in the wilderness. Okay. We know what this feels like. And as I said, these curses, they're reoccurring. And the funny thing about it, like I said earlier as well, and I'm going to keep saying this word was always here. It was always here. Okay. Let's get Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 15. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 6. And, verse 15. And it reads, For the Lord thy God is a jealous God among you, lest the anger of the Lord thy God be kindled against thee, and destroy thee from off the face of the earth. Okay. One thing we have to remember is that the terror of the heathen will bring us to fear. And when that terror brings us to fear, we need to find, why is this happening? I know it's something we all say, whether we in this truth or not. Why is this happening? Well, more of us in this truth understand why than those that are not inside this truth just yet. Okay, why is this happening? It's because the Most High is upset with us. Okay. The Most High is upset with us. That's why this is happening. Okay. And a lot of us don't understand that it's the Most High that he'll send spirits, he'll send angels, evil ones after us. See, when you don't have that law dwelling inside of you, when you're not following the law, statutes, and commandments, it's like a house that has open windows and open doors. Anything can go up in there. Anything. And so a lot of brothers in this truth can testify to that. And a lot of us aren't seeing, a lot of these terrorizing things happen because we learn to close those windows and doors. We close those windows and doors with this law. And when we open them, we let in what's good. We let in what's good. So when we get that knock at the door, we're not just opening the door for any old spirit, any old whatever. That's not happening. That's not happening. But you know what? Let's deal with that. Let's deal with those evil angels. Let's deal with the Most High's anger just for a split second here. Okay. Let's get Psalms chapter 78 and verse 49. And it reads, He cast upon them the fierceness of his anger, wrath, and indignation, and trouble by sending evil angels among them. Okay. So it's not wise to make the Most High upset. The Most High commands any and everything. Mighty Yahweh, the Most High, he is not arm wrestling with Satan. That's not how it goes. What happens is Satan needs permission to mess with us. Read the book of Job. Read the book of Job. Okay. The Most High is not sitting here arm wrestling with nothing. He commands everything. Don't nothing happen unless he says it happens. Okay. All souls are his. And when we don't obey him, we got death coming to us. That's just the way it works. He's the creator. He's the founder of this earth. So it'd do us a great deal to respect him on his earth. We all fall short. But through the keeping of the commandments, we're able to go back and repent, and he can hear our prayers. Okay? Because the Most High doesn't hear the prayers of a sinner. That's Proverbs 28:9. But dealing with those souls, they all belong to him. Okay? They all belong to him. And dealing with sin, not following these laws, being sinful, it equals death. Okay? Let's get that. Let's go to the book of, let's see here. Let's go to Ezekiel. Yeah, I'm hearing people out there popping fireworks right now, acting a fool out there. Ezekiel chapter 18 and verse 4. And it reads, "Behold, all souls are mine. As the soul of the Father, so also the soul of the Son is mine. The soul that sinneth, it shall die." Bottom line, sin equals death. Okay? Sin equals death. You see, when we're not keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, we are in sin. You can't be keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments and also following the customs and ways of the heathen. Doesn't work like that. See? And the funny thing about it, actually, what is it? Today is Thursday. So tomorrow's the 4th. So tomorrow at sundown is Shabbat. So any of us that are keeping these law, statutes, and commandments shouldn't be out there participating in that wickedness at all. And again, it has no, what does it have to do with us? What are we liberated from? Okay. We're not liberated from anything, not yet. But dealing with sin equaling death, what is sin? What is sin? I'm just going to have to get a straight up answer from the Bible itself, what sin is. Let's go to 1 John chapter 3 and verse 4. And it reads, "Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law. For sin is the transgression of the law." You break the law, you sin. Okay? Bottom line, that's what sin is. I know there's a lot of Christians that get sloppy and they say sin is doing something bad. But there might be something that you may be considered that's doing bad that isn't even, a sin at all because there's no law for that particular act. Okay. I believe there's a scripture that says that where there's no law, there's no transgression. Meaning if there isn't a law for it, you're good. And we know we can't get simple with that either because through precepts, it answers, a lot of the more simpler matters, things that people may try to get away with that, the Most High would still have a problem with. The scriptures do say that, there's a time when he winked at our ignorance, but you have to look at these souls going through these captivities over and over and over and over and over again. And then this is our last one. Brothers and sisters, he's tired of it. He's tired of it. Okay. And you got to think about your mothers, fathers, guardians, whoever took care of you. What happens when they get tired of it? What happens? Okay. Some butts are getting beat. That's what happens. And that's basically what we've been going through. Okay. A severe whooping. A severe whooping by the most wickedest of all the nations. Okay. So there you have it. 1 John 3 and 4. Whosoever committeth sin transgresses the law, for sin is the transgression of the law. Okay. So we know transgressing the law is sin. Let's get Proverbs chapter 1 and verse 7. All right. And it reads, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. Okay. So if you don't know how to get back on track, if you got a fear of the Lord, that's a good start. Okay. It's the beginning of knowledge. And think about it. In its simplicity, when you hear something that simple, I don't know what to do. I don't know. I can't act right. I don't know what to do. But you know what? I'm afraid of God. That's a beautiful start, brothers and sisters, right there. It's a beautiful start. Because after you're feeling like, I'm afraid of the Most High, well, what do I have to do to keep him from being upset with me? What does he want me to do? More than likely, that's going to be the next thing that pops up. Okay. You fear something greater than yourself. It's a beautiful start. It's the beginning of knowledge. Okay. But it says, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. So you know you can't be a fool. Okay. So you can't dislike wisdom and instruction. So then let's flip that around. If a fool despises wisdom and instruction and you don't want to be a fool, then maybe you need to go after wisdom and instruction. Okay. So instruction is simple. We receive it every day. You received it from your parents. You received it from your boss. Somebody told you what to do. So then we know instruction is when we're being told what to do. Okay. So at the beginning of knowledge, we know we need to be told what to do depending on what the Most High tells us we're supposed to do. But this wisdom portion here, let's hone in on wisdom. Let's hone in on wisdom. Let's get the book of, let's see here. Let's get the book of Baruch, chapter 3, and verse 8 through 14. And it reads, behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us, for a reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payments, according to all the iniquities of our fathers, which departed from the Lord our God. Hear, Israel, the commandments of life. Give ear to understand wisdom. How happeneth it, Israel, that thou art in thine enemy's land, that thou art waxen old in a strange country, that thou art defiled with the dead, that thou art counted with them that go down into the grave. Thou hast forsaken the fountain of wisdom. For if thou hadst walked in the way of God, thou shouldst have dwelleth in peace forever. Learn where is wisdom, where is strength, where is understanding, that thou mayest know also where is length of days and life, where is the light of the eyes and peace. Okay. Just getting an understanding on wisdom. We have to keep that wisdom with us, brothers and sisters. Okay. Because one thing we don't want to do is we don't want to be put in a situation where, okay, you learn the law, but now you know, okay, I know it. You know, I'm just going to go about my life. I know it. I know of it. I know something about it. But you're not, you know, you're not keeping it in your head. I know something about it. Okay. You're reading your scriptures one day and then you don't read for a few weeks after that. And then now you're starting to feel dirty again. This law is supposed to stay on your mind. This law can't, this law is not supposed to leave your mouth at all. It's supposed to be in our conversations all the time. Okay. In fact, let's get that. Let's get Joshua chapter 1 and verse 8. And it reads, This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. So, as it says, this book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth. I want to touch on something real quick because I'm pretty sure somebody out there is saying, you know what? I got my money. I got everything I need. I'm straight. I don't got to worry about nothing. I'm not being oppressed right now. Everything's kind of good, but you want to know something about the Most High? He will touch you. He'll still touch you. Okay. We got some celebrities right now under a lot of heat. And some of them may get away with the stuff that they got caught up for. But the Most High will get you. He will get you. Okay? He will. Because no man is going to make a fool out of the Most High. So if no man's going to make a fool out of the founder of this earth, the creator of your very existence, before you could think and speak. If no man can make a fool out of him, who are you? Who are you? That Rolls Royce can blow up. An earthquake can hit that mansion. Okay? There's brothers and sisters that they messed up and instantly set off the Most High, and he opened up the earth. And when they fell in, he closed it afterwards. This is his earth. Okay? This is his earth. So even if we got it all, we still got to follow these law, statutes, and commandments. This law still needs to stay on our mouth. A lot of you might be thinking, okay, why are things so serious? Why is this so serious? You got brothers and sisters out there, happy to know who they are, knowing that they're the children of the Most High, but they're not keeping these laws. Just watch. If they don't start keeping them, they will get hit. There will be a message in the wind some way, somehow. You'll find out about it, or there might be a brother or sister on the fence right now about whether they will keep these laws or not. And there just might be another Jake who the Most High is fed up with. There will be an example set in your field of vision. That's just how the Most High works. He's nothing to be played with, brothers and sisters. He's nothing to be played with. Okay. Speaking of which, I know there's some Christians out there, and I don't want to bang on y'all. I grew up in a Christian household, and I didn't know the Most High like I do now. There's a lot of preachers out there that, they make the Bible look weak. They make, they make Yahushua look weak, and the Most High is this great big friendly being who was upset once, and then there's a difference between the Most High in the Old Testament but in the New Testament, I guess he came down and I don't even want to get in all that. I'm not going to get in all that. I'll tell you what. Let's just end this right here. Marcionism. I'll do a lesson on Marciana Sinople in the future. But Marcionism is the reason why we think that there is a God of the Old Testament and a different God in the New Testament. Okay. That Marcion is also an Edomite, mind you. So if he's one of the Most High's enemies, then what does that tell you about that theology? What does that tell you about that perspective? It's wrong and it's off. So let's kill this thing real quick. Let's kill this thing real quick before I get off here. The laws are still valid. There is the Apocrypha. If you had a 1611, if you got one, good. If you don't, you probably should get one. And if you can't get one, the red book is okay. That's okay. And then there's other forms of the Apocrypha as well. And the 1611, the Apocrypha is in it. The validity of that, which is also considered OT, is in Luke. Actually, let's go there. I'm sitting here talking about it. Let's go there. Luke. Chapter 23 and verse 50. Nope. That's not what I want. Luke 10. That's what I want. Luke chapter 10. Verse 22. That is not what I want. And that's my bad, brothers and sisters. I'm moving ahead of myself. I'm looking for John. John chapter 10 and verse 22. There we go. And it was at Jerusalem, the feast of dedication, and it was winter. Okay, well, what's going on here? It was at Jerusalem, the feast of dedication. Okay. Hanukkah. What was going on there? They're celebrating this. Where's the history of this at? Okay, that history is in First Maccabees. First Maccabees and chapter 4. And so you can get that on your own time, but I'm just going to get something really quick here. Let me get something really quick here. So we got First Maccabees chapter 4, and I'm going to get verse 59 here real quick. Boom. Moreover, Judas and his brethren with the whole congregation of Israel ordained that the days of the dedication of the altar should be kept in their season from year to year by the space of 8 days from the 25th day of the month Caselu, with mirth and gladness. Okay. So this is where it was established. We see Yahushua was keeping it. This gives validity of the Apocrypha. All right. But some of y'all might be saying, but Christ, he died. So, we don't got to worry about those laws anymore. Let's get one more to nip this thing in the bud here. Let's go back to Luke. Now to get the one that I was going to get before. We'll go back to Luke. Let me show you something here. My mind is spinning. Too much caffeine. Luke chapter 23, verse 55. Let me show you something here. Okay, so those laws are done away with, right? He died, so the laws are done away with, right? Luke chapter 23, verse 55. And it reads, the women also, which came with him from Galilee, followed after and behind the sepulchre, and how his body was laid. Okay. And they returned and prepared spices and ointments and rested the Sabbath day according to the commandment. What does that mean? That means that the laws were still valid. They still kept the laws. That's what that means. Okay. We know what sin is now. And so if we know sin is the transgression of the law, then how was it that Christ died so we don't have to follow the law? Sin equals death. The Most High don't change. Okay. The Most High doesn't change at all. That's in Malachi. So somebody's off here. Nothing's wrong with the book. Something might be wrong with the understanding. That's what this truth is about. And that's why it's called truth. Okay. Don't be offended. And there's no such thing as your truth is your truth and my truth is my truth. No, it is the truth. If I'm off and there's truth, guess what that means about my philosophy and what I believe and what I think? It means it's wrong. Okay. We got to watch that pride. We got to watch that pride. Because destruction is close afterwards. Okay. And with that pride comes haughtiness. And after that comes a fall. Okay. I believe that's in Proverbs. So one more thing here, and I like bringing this out. The reason why I like bringing this out is because it's like one of those end all be alls. Okay. I'm going to get Revelations chapter 22, verse 14. So when you go all the way to the back of your Bible and you're not sure about keeping these laws, you go here. If anybody tell you don't got to keep these laws, you go here because of what you're saying is true. Why does it say this? To anybody who might think differently, you got to ask, why does it say this right here in the scriptures? Okay. Revelation chapter 22, verse 14 and 15. And it reads, blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life and may enter in through the gates into the city. For without are dogs, sorcerers, and whoremongers, and murderers, and idolaters, and whosoever loveth and maketh a lie. Watch out, hip hop community. So I hope brothers and sisters learned something today. Don't be out there lighting fireworks and doing the barbecue and stuff like that. Yeah, you can barbecue any day. It just don't have to be tomorrow. You got to put up some resistance and show the Most High, hey, I'm following you. I'm not even going to be slick with it. Okay. I'm doing what you want me to do, and you don't want me following the customs of the heathen. In fact, this holiday is not even in the Bible. I will follow your high holy days, though. Okay. I will study thy law. I will keep thy law in my mouth. Okay. I can barbecue another day. Okay. I can have fun with my family another day. I can have fun with my friends another day. But today, I'm not going to do what everybody else is doing. And if you notice, something crazy always happens on these folly days. Something crazy always happens. You'll see. You'll see. Somewhere in some city, something will go down. Okay. Why not hang back in your house, light some frankincense and myrrh, get into your studies, and hang out with the Most High in spirit and truth. With that being said, this is Brother Uziel. Let's repeat the lesson again. This Feed the Lions lesson is titled, The 4th of July is their holiday. And with that, I say shalom.